Okay, let's dive into a topic that sits at a really interesting crossroads. On one side, you've got the world of fitness and athletic supplements, all about pushing performance. And on the other, you have the very careful, very thoughtful journey of trying to start a family. And right in the middle of those two worlds, we find creatine. So, this is the million-dollar question, right? It's the reason you're probably here. If you're someone who hits the gym, you're an athlete, or you just use creatine because you know how effective it is, what happens when that new goal, starting a family, comes into the picture? That is exactly what we are going to break down. You can almost feel the tension here. It's like you have two different identities pulling at you. There's the athlete who knows creatine is a trusted tool for performance. And then there's the aspiring parent who is questioning absolutely everything they put into their body, and for very good reason. And you can see why. When you're focused on performance, your goals are crystal clear. Improve your strength, recover faster from workouts. But when you switch gears to fertility health, the entire list of priorities changes. Now you're thinking about things like hormonal balance and making sure you have this incredibly solid nutrient foundation. These two lists look so different. It's no wonder people ask if they can even exist at the same time. So before we get any deeper, let's just do a quick reset. What exactly is creatine? It's really important to know that this isn't some weird synthetic substance. It's a compound that your own body produces, and it's found naturally in foods we eat, like meat and fish. Its whole job, its entire purpose, is to help recycle energy, specifically a molecule called ATP in your muscles and your brain. Think of it like a rapid recharger for your body's batteries. That's why it works so well for performance. All right, so let's put the conception question on pause for just a second. To really understand the answer, we first have to look at what the science says about creatine's safety in general for the average healthy person. This is where the whole story really starts. And the news here is, well, it's about as good as it gets. Creatine is not some new fad supplement that just popped up last year. It is, without a doubt, one of the most researched supplements in the entire world. We're talking about decades and decades of studies, and the scientific consensus is incredibly strong. For a healthy adult, it's considered exceptionally safe. So, what does a normal, safe dose actually look like? Well, for most people, we're talking about a range of 3 to 5 grams a day. This is the sweet spot that's been used in countless studies. It's effective for getting the benefits, and it's what the body tolerates really, really well. Now, does that mean it's perfect? Of course not. Nothing is. But with creatine, the potential side effects are usually pretty minor. And honestly, they're not very common. A few people might get a little bit of bloating or some stomach discomfort, but that almost always happens when someone takes way, way more than the recommended dose all at one time. Stick to the standard dose, and most people are totally fine. Okay, so we've got the foundation. Creatine is generally safe for healthy folks. Now let's bring it back to our main question. What happens when we zoom in on that very specific and very sensitive period of trying to conceive? And here it is. This is the key takeaway. Based on all the scientific research we have to date, there is simply no evidence, zero, that suggests taking creatine at normal doses is harmful to fertility. That goes for both men and for women. This is a really helpful way to see the whole picture. For general adult health, the science is solid. It's safe. For the time before conception, all the data points to no evidence of harm. And then you see this last category, during pregnancy itself. And this is fascinating. There's actually new research starting to explore potential benefits, like how creatine might be protective for a developing baby. Now, it's still very early days for that research, but it's an exciting sign that the science isn't just stopping at, it's not bad for you. Right. So it's not just about avoiding a negative. Remember, creatine's main job is to support energy production. We know that being healthy and active is a huge plus when you're trying to conceive. So if creatine helps you maintain a healthy exercise routine and supports your overall energy levels, you could argue it might actually be a helpful piece of the puzzle. But, and this is a really important but, this isn't a universal green light for every single person in every situation. Context matters more than anything. So let's talk about the specific times when you absolutely need to hit pause and exercise some caution. Here's the most critical point. Your kidneys are the organs responsible for filtering and clearing the byproduct of creatine from your body. So it logically follows that if you have any pre-existing kidney issues or a history of kidney disease, creatine is probably not for you. And just like with any supplement you take, it's always a smart move to talk with your doctor, especially if you're on other medications, just to make sure there are no weird interactions. Let's make this feel a bit more real with a quick story. Let's imagine a woman we'll call Emma.
She is a dedicated CrossFit athlete. It's a huge part of her life, and that includes taking creatine every day. But now, she and her partner have decided they want to start a family, and she's starting to second-guess her supplement routine.
So, what does Emma do? She takes stock of the bigger picture. And what she finds is that her overall health foundation is rock solid. She eats a diet packed with nutrients, she's at a healthy weight for her body, and she's even had recent blood work that shows her kidneys are functioning perfectly. In her specific case, because all those fundamentals were already locked in, continuing her standard dose of creatine was considered a non-issue. And that story about Emma brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most important point of this whole conversation. Before we get caught up in the details of any single supplement, we have to look at the foundation that everything else is built on.
I mean, this says it all, doesn't it? The clue is right there in the name: supplement. Their job is to add a little something extra to an already great routine. No powder or pill on the planet can make up for a poor diet, a lack of sleep, or an unhealthy lifestyle. It just doesn't work that way. You have to think of it like building a pyramid. The huge, solid base, the non-negotiable part, is your diet, your lifestyle, and your sleep. That's what holds everything up. Supplementation, that's the very small, final block you place right at the peak, and only after that strong base is completely built.
And when we talk about that nutrient-rich diet, these are the real superstars when it comes to fertility. Seriously, long before you worry about your creatine intake, the big question should be, am I getting enough folate? What about iron? Am I getting enough healthy omega-3s? These are the true building blocks that have a massive, direct impact on preconception health. So let's bring it all together. What's the final verdict? It's this. If you're a healthy person, you have no history of kidney problems, and you're taking a standard recommended dose of 3 to 5 grams, then creatine is considered safe to continue taking while you're trying to conceive. But, and you knew this was coming, it should never, ever be your first priority.
And that really leaves us with one final, powerful question to ask yourself. Take an honest look at your own routine. The supplements you're taking, are they truly supplementing an already strong and healthy foundation? Or are they maybe a distraction from the fundamental work that really moves the needle? It's a great question to reflect on no matter where you are in your health journey.